While everyone can agree that the Kendrick and Drake feud ended long ago, with Kendrick taking the cake, he decided to ride this momentum way longer into the future than we expected. Things got relatively quiet after the Heart Part 6 until Kendrick had his pop-out concert on Juneteenth, which just further made Drake look like an idiot and lose more respect. Up to this point, all of Drake's lies had been addressed, including the accusations that Kendrick gets no love in his hometown, only to get the entire West Coast, Crips, Bloods, and everyone in between to rally behind him in LA. Even figures that have been notoriously neutral throughout this feud, including Tyler the Creator, were there to perform with Kendrick, and I'm surprised J. Cole wasn't there somewhere lurking in the shadows. The only lies that hadn't been addressed were the allegations of domestic violence against Kendrick's partner Whitney, which have now been very clearly proven wrong, and we'll shortly get into why. It's really funny that so many Drake stans use this as an argument and are about to look like absolute buffoons. Fast forward a few weeks to now, Kendrick dropped a music video for Not Like Us, which continues to ride the charts and will probably be there for a long time now that this just came out. Before we hop into the video and all the details, I first want to say how genius it is to release this video on the 4th of July after calling Drake a colonizer of hip-hop, the US being infamous for colonizing countless helpless areas. But anyway, let's hop into the video, what's great about it, and why this is the final nail in the coffin for Drake's career. To me, the coolest thing about this is the opening snippet of brand new music from Kendrick Lamar, which features him rapping over a bouncy West Coast beat. This lasts for just 20 seconds, but my hope is this is a snippet from a new album or single. We'll see what happens in the near future, but always super exciting to hear new stuff. Another big highlight is Kendrick smashing the OVO pinata during the wop 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 part of the song. It's really funny too, seeing him play hopscotch during the A minor line, which also has the crowd noise play in the background. Like, Kendrick is leaning so heavily into every joke on this song, and it's just so embarrassing for Drake. Easily the biggest thing that will be talked about in this video is Kendrick dancing in his living room with his 2 kids and partner Whitney, which, in case you forgot, Drake said this about.
They hired a crisis management team to clean up the fact that you beat on your queen.
I don't know about you, but I think if you abuse someone, they probably wouldn't come back to dance in your music video. There will probably be Drake stans that say Kendrick paid her off to do this, but that just shows how delusional they really are. Another thing to add to this is that the video was directed by Kendrick and Dave Free, in which Drake said this about.
I heard that one of them little kids might be Dave Free.
I'm sure everyone remembers that too. While I liked Family Matters when it dropped and still think the performance is pretty good, I just can't listen to Drake's disses anymore because of how poorly they've aged. I don't understand why you'd just blatantly lie on a song if you knew Kendrick still had connections to Dave Free and Whitney. Like, this was your red button and the hype lasted for all but 30 minutes. To add on to Drake's music aging poorly, having Kendrick stare at an owl inside a cage was literally the coldest way he could have ended the video. That's saying, hey man, your career's over, no matter what you do, I got you locked up, and anytime you release anything, people are gonna be hypercritical of it. Do better. Even though Drake's disses have aged so bad, for me it's kind of hard to listen to his music at all. I would never consider myself a super fan, but there were definitely lots of Drake songs I liked, and just knowing his history with minors, plus all the lies and drama and fake persona, it's really hard to separate the art from the artist. This seems to be the memo I'm getting from lots of others too, but I've never been all that attached to Drake anyway. Hopefully he just takes a break for a while, but it seems like staying out of the limelight's impossible for him, and it's just becoming more embarrassing every day. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's talk about whether Kendrick's releasing an album this year. I do not have any insider information, so this is purely skeptical on my end, but I have a feeling we're getting an album by the end of the year. The gap between Damn and Mr. Morale was pretty abstract, as Kendrick was just coming off his biggest record, doing stuff for the Black Panther soundtrack. COVID obviously happened, and then there was a lot of personal trauma going on. Prior to that gap, it was never more than 3 years between albums, so in my opinion, I don't think it would be that crazy for him to drop this year. Damn came out just 2 years after T-Pab. And yes, I know he's got 2 little kids now, and that takes a lot of work, so I might be crazy for saying this. Also though, with this rap beef ongoing, Kendrick's been on an absolute hot streak with back-to-back releases, the pop-out show, the music video, and an entire city behind him. I think the record we're gonna get will be very West Coast and Tupac inspired, and it seems like Kendrick is really relishing in his hometown right now. The snippet we heard at the beginning of this video is what I predict the whole record will sound like. After a Goliath of hyper-personal trauma dumping on Mr. Morale, we're just gonna get a concise 10 to 12 song album of fun West Coast bangers, and I think this is the perfect direction for Kendrick to go after doing so much for the genre. Also because Kendrick's never really made an album like that before. Damn probably comes the closest, but still had many deep-cutting personal tracks. Kendrick had the whole Black Hippie crew on stage with him at the pop-out show. How sick would it be if they all got together for a posse cut on this next album? I feel like we're gonna see a lot of that on Kendrick's new album, but we'll see what happens soon. I don't really have much more to add. I thought the video was fantastic. It was super cool to see the whole city rally behind Kendrick, and I'm glad we got one more form of closure for this rap beef. For it to end on the Heart Part 6 would have been embarrassing. If it ended at the pop-out show, I guess that would have been fitting, but knowing Kendrick was shooting a video in the city, it's pretty cool we got one more piece of history here. I'm sure there's a lot of details in the video that I missed, but I'm recording this literally an hour after it came out, so we'll deal with all that later. All you need to know is that this is the final nail in the coffin for Drake, and if he were smart, he would lay low for at least a year and then come back with a really strong single or album. Given his latest bodies of work, I can't really see it happening. However, I can see him pulling an MGK sort of move and attempting a body of work in an entirely different genre. How that'll go, who knows? No matter what he does, he has to accept he took the L here and move on, but we'll see what happens. What do you guys think? What does it even mean to have your career ended? Will any of this even matter in the long run? Since Drake's been such a consistent hitmaker, will this really affect his numbers? How many people that listen to those hits are even following this beef? I don't know, but the reputation's definitely damaged, and it's all a really bad look for him. Whatever the future holds, I'm so grateful I got to witness a feud like this in my lifetime, and also cover some of it on YouTube. I can't see there ever being a bigger rap feud than this, but that's probably what everyone thought during Biggie and Tupac. I feel comfortable now saying it's officially over, and the only things we might get out of this now are a couple IG posts from Drake. The best thing that can happen moving forward is Kendrick dropping a release date for a new album, and I think we can expect that in the next few months. Drop some comments down below on what you think about this whole situation. Whether Drake's career is irreversibly damaged, whether you think Kendrick will drop or not soon, and what you think it'll sound like if he does. Thank you guys so much for watching. My Patreon is patreon.com/deadpanduke if you'd like to support me. If you don't want to spend any money, then you can click the subscribe button and like this video, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you so much one more time, and enjoy the Not Like Us video.